Okay, this video is how we represent magnetic field lines or magnetic lines of force. So if we have a standard bar magnet, okay, and we have a north pole and a south pole, then we can actually sprinkle iron filings over the top and we can see the pattern that the force lines make. But how can we represent that to show which way a particle would move? So what we need to think about is, imagine if we had a tiny little north. Now, we actually can't separate a north from a south pole, but imagine if we had a little north, and we can represent the force field lines around a magnet in the direction that a tiny little north would move. So for this bar magnet, when we sprinkle iron filings around it, we get a pattern. And if we think about where a north, a tiny little north, this tiny little north would move, well, if it was here, it would be repelled. So we draw the field line direction as to where that tiny north would go. So if we had this tiny north over here, it would be attracted to the south end of the magnet. So it would be coming in, and that's why we have these sort of arrows coming in. But if it was over here, it would be repelled by the north, and therefore we can draw the arrows moving away from the north. This is how we represent magnetic force. Now, what if we have a situation, okay, where we have north, south, north, south? How do we draw these field lines? And we can see this in the lab. Okay, so I have a similar situation sort of going on here. Not much, very weak interaction at the furthest pole. But what is happening in the middle here? Well, the two norths are actually going to repel each other. So as much as these field lines would like to come out, they're going to get repelled straight back. And we have this region, even if you had more dense strength fields at the poles, which we do. We have this region in here where there's a lack of magnetic field strength. And how do we represent the arrows? Away from north towards south. Away from north towards south. So that would be the two like poles. And the last situation I'll draw is if we had two unlike poles. So what would happen here? So we would have nothing stopping this field here. In fact, it would be quite strong. And then we would have a little bit like this, and then we would get the rest returning as normal. And which direction would they all move? Away from north, it's a bit messy, towards south. Away from north, towards south. You can see that these lines represent the strength and density of the magnetic field at any point.